When I woke up this morning, the Nevada and Wisconsin was not, anyway, they weren't close yet. What's the deal with, what's that?
Because they had the different
It's
counties.
not official, but it's leaning towards, if it's pale, it's leaning towards Biden. If it's kind of reddish, it's leaning towards Trump. They're not done.
What's up with Nebraska?
Yes,
Because it has
right. Maine and Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Remember what they do?
They count them and then
They count, the winner of the state gets 2, and then each district, whoever wins the district gets a vote. Nebraska, what? Look at that. Look at, I'm like I'm on TV or something. But this ain't showing it.
Yeah, it is. It's
they
right there.
down there in the corner.
You gotta click close on that thing.
Let's see.
Probably.
Okay. Well, what happened was Trump got, they split Maine, and Biden got 1 in either, I think where he got, Trump got 1 in Maine and Biden got 3 or 4, and then Trump got 3 or 4 in Nebraska and Biden got 1. So they each won a district in each state. But at some point this morning, like 3:30, 3:45 this morning, there was a slim chance of a 269 to 269 tie. Did we talk about what happens then?
Could you only imagine?
I figured that would. What happens in a tie, it goes to the House of Representatives, and then, and this is going to sound weird, all the states' representatives gets together. So like Texas's representatives, there's 36, and they vote. If they come up with a majority, like if Trump or Biden gets a majority of those votes, then each state gets 1 vote in the House. If your state can't come up with a majority among the representatives, then your vote doesn't count. So it would go to the House of Representatives, if there ever was a tie. Let's see. But as of now, let's just see how this works. I guess I don't have to. Earlier this morning, Michigan was trending Trump. I guess it's trending Biden now. And it depends on, all right. Well, what is this? You know, what do we know about the red counties here?
They're smaller.
They're smaller. There's not much. There's a whole lot more red counties, but there's not as much population. This is Detroit and Lansing and Ann Arbor and those areas. I don't know what this is, but they're still counting votes. I don't know if there's Pennsylvania. I've heard it's going to be Friday before they know, because of what was it? They don't count any of the absentee ballots or mail-in ballots until after they're done counting everything else. And those have to be those are a little bit more tedious. They run through machines, but you can't just, how many of y'all voted yesterday? Or how many of y'all voted in this one at all? It's a little machine, beep, beep. It's easier to tabulate that on the computer, but they have to actually physically take those ballots in. So they're saying Pennsylvania is Friday.
Again, I was already late, so.
Oh, might as well, yeah. So go back to this country map. If Biden will win Wisconsin and Arizona. In fact, I can't believe they hadn't called Arizona yet, or Nevada yet. If he loses Michigan, then Biden gets the presidency. If Biden wins these and Trump wins these, Trump gets the presidency. So it will come down to, depends on, if Michigan goes Trump, we'll have to wait for Pennsylvania. But do you understand what I was saying the other day about the counties and the states being in charge of their election? Each county does their own election stuff. They do their own counting, they do their own stuff. And if you,
What's taking Alaska so long? There's like 5 people there.
well, what's it's probably, no, they really don't want to get out, and it's later. It's a lot later then. It's really, it's like still like
Yeah.
probably midnight there, or whatever, you know, it's probably not midnight, but,
Well, technically, they don't get a midnight. They don't get night.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm running for president, I'm the Republican, and there's this county, and the county clerk who does the elections is a Democrat. And there's some stuff where, we got some more ballots we're gonna count. If I'm the Republican, what am I gonna say about that county?
Yeah.
Well, they're messing things up on purpose. You know, if I'm a Democrat and it's a Republican county and the Republican county clerk is in charge of it and there's some, we gotta count some of these, then they're trying to steal, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just, it's like we've got however many counties in this country there's that many people in charge of stuff. And it's not really chaos, but it's kind of chaos. Does that make sense? It's kind of, there's no central, and I don't know if this is the answer. There's no central organization running this election. It's a bunch of little things running the election. And there was a question about, there was was it Pennsylvania was calling in the National Guard to help count ballots? And there was something there's a couple things in a couple states where there was like, where'd these ballots come from? Or, we've got these extra ballots laying around, let's count them. And there's always ballots that aren't counted because they weren't done correctly. And then the question is, okay, if it gets real close, are we gonna count those that weren't done right, but let's check and see what they would have said. You know, if Trump loses, is he gonna want those ballots counted? If Biden loses, is he gonna want those ballots counted? That's where the chaos comes in. So that's what I said yesterday. I figured something like that was gonna happen. And I think President Trump's already mentioned the Supreme Court. And
I can't believe Arizona went blue. I saw a video of a 95-mile-long Trump parade.
Yeah. But there's also, I mean,
Those probably weren't people from Arizona.
it's like a highlight
We were
film.
blue for a good while.
Anybody can look like an amazing football player if you watch their highlight film. But if you watch the whole game, you're like, wait a minute, I didn't see that, you know. So, but I don't know what's.
I thought they were gonna like recount Arizona because they said there was like 700,000 to 800,000 votes that hadn't gotten counted.
Maybe that's why they. Cause I'd heard.
No, Arizona.
Arizona. Okay.
That was last night.
I'm positive there's going to be a lot more controversy and a lot more stuff happen today and tomorrow, and I guarantee we won't know today.
Friday. When Pennsylvania voted.
If Michigan goes to Biden, then it kind of is over. But then there'll be other stuff happening. But if Michigan goes to Trump, then we'll have to wait for Pennsylvania. And after all that, I'm sure both sides are going to be looking at stuff, questioning stuff, lawsuits. The House did go back to the Democrats. The Senate is sitting.
47, 47.
Yeah.
Oh, that's close.
And they've said these, I guess they haven't finalized everything, but all the projections, all the things they show, Republicans can't get any more seats than they have right now. This one, no matter what, I always like one thing to be off. I never like everything to be all one thing. So at least some balance and some checking, you know. It's kind of like, if you have one running back, they don't have to try real hard. Does that make sense? Because I'm going to start. If you have two running backs, you have to try and work, and they'll get better. You know, so I kind of like these kind of, at least of all three, I want one of them to be off, so they have to deal with each other, you know, and come up with something. I don't know what this, if it shows anything, you know. See what? I don't think I can do it from here. Anybody else see here anything that they got a question on? I did get a call from a kid. In the shower, he said, Leah's on the phone. They're asking questions.
Well, Trump wanted to stay, but.
Well, they already have civil war.
Why is that one different?
Yeah, that
They're
one's
saying
different.
Arizona's not. Oh, okay. They're saying Arizona's not.
Maybe that's what they were saying. You what?
He looked and he did the sixth grade.
Oh, yeah. God, how'd you like to go get a driver's license in Arizona at that county seat?
Oh,
So I guess they're saying, see, I don't know how you can make, 82% are in. I guess it would depend on, well, Phoenix, I don't know. I wonder. That seems like a lot to make up. How many is that? 8?
That's like 100.
That's a lot of votes. I don't know if they can make that up. But
They don't have Biden winning Michigan.
that's what you call close.
What is it?
Alright, so if, yeah, how many votes is that? That's
I figured
only,
it had, CNN would have the whole thing blue.
that's 7,000? That's 7,000 votes?
Yeah.
With 89% in? And I wonder what the breakdown, well, we saw that. Anyway. Right now, that's the updated.
How much is, what's the spread on this?
What's what?
Spread on Pennsylvania, I was just wondering.
75%, and what, yeah, it depends, I think, all right, Philadelphia, I'm gonna bet is real heavily is Biden.
Yeah.
And those are probably a lot of the votes that are getting counted. But that one, that's the big one right there, that'll make the decision. If they can finish that one. Was that 89, or, ooh, they already changed it some.
Yeah. I think it's been going up. It's been switching to 40% every.
Alright, so. Okay. Did I give you all this thing? Yesterday, did we do? We got started, didn't we? A little bit. Alright, let's look at that. And then we'll do something. You do what's bad about being president?
Oh, you got that real life, that's really high.
Can you get to the executive order deal down there? Maybe yes, no. So I put September 11th down there. What? President Bush, when he first got the news, the first thing he did after everything was settled down was issue an executive order that brought down, didn't bring down, that said no flights, no airplanes flying. All right? Y'all help me out, keep your mask on. All right, I gotta keep mine on. I hate it 20 times worse than you do. That's so Christy. How many times we argue at the house and I start throwing fits? Yeah, you know. I'm so, I'm a lot different at the house, ain't I? I'm not in a bad mood all the time at the house.
No,
Crabbier?
I'm
Huh?
not in a bad mood.
Well, I'm a lot
You're
more,
just, like, hyper.
no, I'm negative. I'm a lot more negative at the house than I am here.
No, you're a lot more.
We don't hear all the stuff me and Mom would talk about. Mom would say I'm negative. He's
It
trash.
depends when you start getting tired.
Which is all the time, I'm tired all the time. He said all the airplanes had to come down. There could be no more planes flying in the air. That was an executive order. Didn't have to go through Congress, could do it really fast, get it done. Incumbents, what's incumbents? You're in office, run for that office again. You're in office already, run for that office again. All right, the electoral stuff. How many? Every state has the same number of electoral votes as what? Senators and reps. Is it the senators and reps that do the electoral votes? No. That's just how many you got. Who does the electoral vote? Face painters. If you're a big time Democrat face painter in that state, you might get picked to be an elector. So if you win a majority of the state, what do you get? All of that state's electoral votes, unless you're in Maine and Nebraska. They kind of do it right. They're going to meet, and you'll see this year, they're going to meet in the middle of December. It's around December 11th, December 15th. They'll meet in the state capitals and they'll vote. You technically don't know until then who the president is because they don't have to vote for who they're supposed to vote for. But they've never not. There has been a few that does a protest vote, but I'm not going to say that it's technically possible the person that's supposed to win doesn't win, but that won't happen because they're face painters. You know what I mean? They're not gonna, a big chunk of them ain't gonna do it. Maybe one or two might. There might be a Republican that hates Trump that goes up there and votes for Mickey Mouse or somebody. I don't know if a Democrat would this time. Democrats did last time. There was a couple that voted Bernie Sanders last time because there's a big rift between Hillary and Bernie Sanders. Does that make sense? Electoral stuff, does that make sense to y'all? All right. Okay, picking a judge or a justice. How is that such a big deal for a president? They're there a long time after when you're president, everything you did gets undone. After you're gone, the judge or justice is still there doing stuff. All right, presidential election. What are primaries? They narrow down the candidates to one per party. It's the playoffs. A little bit, as soon as I say that, what do you say? What do you think? What goes off your head as soon as I say playoffs? Playoffs? I'll play that a lot. No, it's different. Yeah.
It's gotta be pondered. That's what you are thinking. So ponder.
And that was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion. We threw that game. We gave it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? What are you talking about? Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
That's what, because going to my house, you saw it. My mom went out with you in college. Yeah, mom went out with Jim Moore. Just saying, Jim Moore. No, I wouldn't be around. I was adopted, would have adopted. I don't know. Yeah. All right, where am I at? What was I saying? Oh yeah, the playoffs. So then you have at the National Party Convention. Anybody want to go to one of those?
No.
I don't want to. I never want to. Blue faces, red faces, a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling.
Is that video showed us?
Yes.
Like,
Say aye. No. National Party Convention, they do two things. What's two things they do?
candidate platform.
They pick a candidate. Now, except for a few hiccups, the last 50 years, everybody knows who the candidate's going to be. When I was growing up, the big mystery was who's the vice president going to be. And that's when they would announce the vice president there. So that was the big drama. But recently, they've gone ahead and picked the vice president before you get to that, too. So a lot of the fun is taken out. They pick a candidate officially. How much somebody find? No, I might be able to do it. They pick a candidate and they draw up a platform. Remember what the platform is?
What the party believes in.
What they believe in, what they want to accomplish, what they stand for. And they start the campaign. Where do they not campaign at?
The places they're not gonna win.
If they know they're not going to win it, or they know they're going to win it, they don't spend a lot of time or money there. They don't want to waste time or money there. Let me on the right-handed. Okay. Should you practice right-hand layups? No. What do you need to practice? Left-hand layups. You need to practice both. Yes. We need to learn how to do both. Is what we need to do. They don't go to the. Where do they go? Where do they spend their time and money? The swing states, the battleground states, the ones that are 50-50. They look at the map.
Wouldn't this be the last few that we have right now?
It's historically, it's always Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, and recently it's become Michigan. Iowa's become, but you're trying to get 270. You're trying to win states so you can get 270 electoral votes. And you have to decide during that last 2 month time period, where do we need to spend most of our time? If you notice, they spent a lot of time in Florida, in Pennsylvania, and in Michigan, and Wisconsin the last few weeks. That's where they all were campaigning. I think I heard Candace Venezuela did not win whatever she was running for. So the other evil person did. The other one wants to destroy your children's lives. Won. So I'm so glad I didn't have to pick between those two, whoever it was, because they're both. What was it? Yes. God, they both hate your children. I don't know how you can. Anyway. Does that idea make sense? You're just trying to get that number, and you got to find the states that will give you that magic number there. All right. Let me look at something. Except for Minnesota.
Yeah, that's where his person was. That's where his.
Yeah,
opponent
his
was from.
Mondale's home state.
Yeah.
Like the first time Florida went red in like forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's
That's weird.
the South is historically Democratic because of the Civil War and then because of Reconstruction. No, Depression. I'm just trying to find.
They probably didn't even count them, they just sent them
Yeah.
It was going back to last year.
Yeah.
We're red all the way through.
It's crazy
Except for,
how that is.
is there any Democratic representatives from Texas?
Yes. There he
I know
is.
Yeah.
there isn't any.
Dallas and Houston. No, Dallas and Austin. That was the '84 map.
Yeah, but Minnesota, half of it was red. If you click on it, if you get
That
one of
was-
those that you click on, half of it was red.
Wow.
So like that's the biggest
Yeah.
upset, I guess you could say.
That's called a dub.
That
Yeah,
was
it's a
Minnesota.
In case you're wondering, that's how you win an election out there. I wonder how many that
So he
is.
barely got Minnesota just because he lived there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because his candidate was like there.
Five 525 to 13. They won the game 525 to 13. And those 13 points were scored against the JV in the fourth quarter. So, That's pretty good right there. The man.
What's he say? Trust but verify.
Trust but verify.
Yeah.
Let me find the, make sure.
What about mosquitoes? It's like 40 degrees outside.
Look at you, George Washington.
Nobody listens to it. Look at, he wears a wig. Nobody's listening to him. He's got a powdered wig. And he wears ties. Nobody's listening to him. And wooden teeth. Nobody out there. Yeah, I think Kanye got some votes yesterday. Kanye got votes yesterday. What a country we live in. Like thousands. I think he got 10,000 votes that I saw. 7,000.
Wait, he was on the ballot?
10,018.
On some states he was. That's why only Democrats and Republicans have a chance to win, because not every candidate can get on every ballot, because you have to have a certain number of signatures to get on the
He
ballot.
tweeted that he was running in 2024.
Oh.
Just what we need.
Got more
Put his
tickets.
name on it. Yeah, for real.
That's how we need running the country.
Well, he was
Well, yeah, but.
he's all for the.
Yeah.
What's
Ronald Reagan? Ronald Reagan's not.
All right, I want to give you the written questions. Go write them down. Have at it.
Coach Ralph,
Yeah.
is Ronald Reagan dead?
Yes.
Oh,
He died in 2006, I believe. He was old. He was the oldest president we ever had.
He was old,
My
but
dad
good
loved
president.
Ronald Reagan.
Um,
He was old, but good president.
if a president, you know this one, if a president gets a majority in a state, what do they get? They get all the electoral votes. That's one question. As chief executive, what does the president do? No? That's commander in chief. Chief executive, another way of saying that is the CEO.
He's like the business owner of the executive.
President.
Yes, they hire and fire. The executive branch is like a business. Congress passes laws, passes programs. It's the executive branch's job to get those things done. So, as chief executive, the president runs the executive branch like a business. Here's things that have to be done. And then the president hires people to get these things done. If they don't get those things done, the president fires them, brings new people in. But the president's responsible for getting all the stuff Congress passes accomplished. Bless you. Getting the programs done, making sure the laws are enforced. All those executive agencies, their job is to make sure all the policies get carried out.
Oh, you're gonna like this. Lady Gaga's dad.
No, I'm done. I'm done. So you can sit down.
You're gonna like this.
Nah, okay.
So you know how Trump, Lady Gaga performed for Biden or something like that?
I know.
Trump slammed her because she did awful work, and then Lady Gaga's dad endorsed Trump for saying that. That's a fun picture right there.
You wanna tell your Lady Gaga joke?
You got it.
Huh?
You got it.
Okay. This is what Tiny Pacer told me. He thought it was so funny. It made me sad because he knew something about Lady Gaga. What? How do you wake up, Lady Gaga?
Poker
Poker face, I was so disappointed. So sad. There's another joke.
There's another one.
What is it? I don't remember that one.
How would you like to egg?
I don't know. never.
I can see.
That's
Something like that.
I think you had a fluorescent shirt on when you told me that.
No, because that was like intermediate.
Okay.
That was like elementary, so I wore jersey.
Yeah, you were cool then.
Yeah.
Um,
Probably like to go to later.
all right.
Real dead. That's great.
Executive orders. What's good about executive orders?
You don't have to go through Congress.
Quick.
You can get something done really quick, like September 11th. Because you don't have to go through Congress. What could be bad about executive orders?
It does.
It doesn't have to go through Congress.
Doesn't have to go through Congress. So you could do something that just you want to do and Congress doesn't want to go along with it.
But it still has to be constitutional.
It has to be constitutional, and Congress still can say we're not paying for that if it costs money. So the good thing is it doesn't go through Congress, so you can do things fast. The bad thing is it doesn't go through Congress, so it's not getting checked by Congress.
So if Trump doesn't win,
Mm-hmm.
can he run for election in 2024?
Yes.
If
But-
they do all of that.
You're going to be like 80. And
Biden's already 80.
I want to find somebody.
Biden said.
I want to find somebody that could actually, possibly, you could conceive of them running like a 10K. That's who I'd like the next president to be. Somebody
Trump Jr.
that maybe could possibly walk a mile. You know, not, you know.
Not a geriatric.
Yeah, somebody that can breathe without assistance. You know.
The press is taking pictures and walking to the left wing like this.
All right. If there's an election with an incumbent, what does that mean?
Re-election.
Re-elected.
Somebody is already in that office. This election there is an incumbent. If Trump wins, next election will there be an incumbent? No. If Biden wins, next election will there be an incumbent? Harris will be running, yes. You're right, because he's probably.
There you go. Hard
Why is
pass.
he allowed, even if he's, I know he's been vice president and stuff.
Threw it under the brush.
But he's still going for president?
Yeah, he has never been president. He ran for president, I think, the first time in '88.
Yeah, he's lost every time.
I did not vote for him, but that election, my first election to vote in, he was running for president. I was in college.
Who'd you vote for?
Was he a lot different than he is?
I voted for Michael Dukakis because I was an idiot. Most unrivaled. I didn't pay attention to anything. I heard the news and heard people say, we need a change. We need a change. We need a change. And I was like, yeah, we need a change. I didn't say why or what we're changing to. All I cared about was there was college football and baseball playoffs. I wasn't paying attention to anything. So don't be a rival. Don't be a rival. Yeah. But
Yeah, he could talk.
wasn't quite, well, no, because his thing is he always messes up talking. And some of it I didn't blame him for, but he had gaffes, like making misquotes or speaking something. He always did that. It's not a brand new thing. He always did that. And I don't necessarily blame him because if you're campaigning, you're going to all these different places and you don't know any of these people. And I guess it was, how long ago? 15, 20 years ago maybe. He was campaigning in Missouri, and there was a Missouri state senator there, not a U.S. senator, but like a state senator. So he doesn't know him. And he's talking, it's Chuck something. And he's talking about, he has a list of all these people's names. He goes, come on, Chuck, stand up. Let them see you. Chuck happened to be in a wheelchair. And that's not his fault. He doesn't know that. And he goes, oh, God love you. Y'all stand up for Chuck. Stand up. So he's like, oh, it's just, and I don't blame him for that. So.
Come on, Chuck, stand up. He's like,
All right. Three things, last thing we'll do today. 3 things that make being president horrible.
Had to wear a tie.
Well, but there's a lot of things you gotta wear a tie for. Yes, you're right, but that's not it, the bad one.
What have a life?
Your life, freedom.
Life at risk.
Your life is at risk,
And what is
your
it?
family.
Half the people hate you.
No day off.
Right, yeah, you're never done. Alright, at least Friday nights, I can go, okay, that one's over. And I can just relax and then wait till the next morning to think about the next game. There's 25 million games going on at one time for president. So you can't ever relax and say, yes, we did that. There's always something else coming up. You're never off, you're never done. No one, you don't ever get that feeling of satisfaction of the pat on the back, because for every pat on the back, there's 50 people telling you what an idiot you are. Nobody's happy with you. No matter how thick-skinned you are, all you see is what a big idiot you are, and you get letters from people who how your policies meant they lost their job, or you sent my son to war and he died. You know, you get to deal with all that all the time.
So they went through his son's emails yet or no? Or
They
did
kinda-
they get lost?
I think that's kind of died down. It might pick back up after the election, but I don't know if they ever did anything with that. Anything else you can think of? I used to always say, President, I used to love, remember we used to always go get Slurpees whenever we were in Fort Worth? I don't know why, I'm not a fan of Slurpees anymore. Isn't that weird? Because that's all I cared about for a long time. I used to say, the president can't go get a Slurpee if he wants it. You can have a Slurpee machine, but you're stuck there. Once again, you're stuck there, trapped, and somebody would always say, well, you go send it out for one. Somebody bringing you a Slurpee. It's gonna be half melted and gross. And anybody ever got the Quick Trip Slurpee? Those are horrible.
7-Eleven.
The ones I've been to, every time I've gone to Quick Trip, and I think you'll understand this. I see your head look. They're both too frozen and melted at the same time. Am I right? They're too frozen to drink, but they're half melted. I don't know how that technology exists, but Quick Trip has got it down. Buc-ee's used to be perfect, but now, last time we went there, they were all broke down. But 7-Eleven is the 50-50. You walk in, they're either not working, or they're clear, or they're... We'd go like 3 or 4 in a row, and I'd go in, and then I'd always walk out going... Do what? Yes. No, he always got watermelon pina colada. That's perfect. But then the Dr. Pepper Slurpee is for not. No. Those aren't Slurpees. Those are not Slurpees. Those are weird. No.
I'm ready to start having Tennessee.